The topic for today is the newly announced 2.0 light cones. As the number of light cones is a bit high, and these light cones can be obtained by everybody and eventually maxed out in time, I will analyze how valuable each of them will be for your account. So sit down, open your notebooks, and sharpen your pencils, as today's class is hereby in session. Finally, Blade's F2P light cone has been added to the game. With a synergistic 100% uptime with his skill HP consumption, every Blade enjoyer can rejoice that they finally have a great light cone for him and a free one as well. So, if you are a Blade user, it is 100% recommended to invest in it. Otherwise, it can be ignored until we get another user who can make use of its passive. This is an interesting option for Nihility users, potentially a Black Swan F2P choice, and could be used by an effect hit rate build welt as well. Otherwise, as most Nihility units are either dot damage dealers who want to build speed and attack, or debuffers who want to stack effect hit rate in order to guarantee their debuffs and who have better team utility choices, this light cone will not see any use for them. Possibly an Venturine light cone, as neither preservation unit currently in the game is looking to do damage or is looking to stack on that much effect resistance. Either way, until we get more info on Venturine, this one is also not recommended, unless you are looking to have your Japard hit harder. Arguably the strongest light cone out of this series, every single erudition unit would make great use of its passive, and more so in pure fiction under the proper conditions. Genius's Repose is the alternative that comes to mind, with higher numbers provided. Both are pretty restrictive, as you need to kill a unit with Repose before its crit damage buff activates, while the Cosmos buff activates after each attack hits more than 2 units who also have the same weakness as the wearer. In pure fiction, Genius's Repose might be the better option, as there are plenty of fodder units for you to maintain the buff with. But Genius's Repose is a gotcha weapon, and most of you most likely do not have it or have it at a lower superimposition, while the day the Cosmos fell can be maxed out through the store by everyone. It is highly recommended to be invested in and used, unless you have stronger alternatives like Jing Yuan's light cone or the Battle Pass light cone. This light cone serves as a leak by the developers, as we currently do not have a self-harm abundance unit in the game which will take advantage of the healing provided to themselves, as all the current abundance units are more focused on keeping the other members alive, and their healing provided is tied to their main stats, either to attack or to max HP percentage. But I suspect the unit in question might be Gallagher himself, as the developers have the habit of selling the solution to a problem in a round 1, 2 patches after the problem is introduced in the game. The break effect main stat is also not used by any of the current abundance units, so while this light cone is a great leak for an upcoming self-harm healer unit by the Star Rail developers themselves, I would not recommend leveling or spending the currency for this light cone right now. A stronger light cone out of the lineup, providing 20% attack increase as well as a potential 48% crit damage buff until the end of your turn. This crit damage buff can be achieved by all hunt units with the exception of Dr. Ratio, as he is the only hunt unit without a multi-hit skill in his kit. All in all, it's a decent stat stick for all hunt units who can abuse its multi-hit mechanic. An interesting effect, but would be very hard to use in practice, as the 20% DMG increase only affects the last ability used by the wearer, so you will have to time all of your abilities in the proper manner if you want to utilize this buff effectively. Meaning if you want to boost your DPS ultimate damage, you have to make sure your Harmony unit has used his ultimate as the last action prior to your DPS acting. Also, unfortunately for this light cone, we already have some very strong 4-star light cones available for Harmony, which are less restrictive. Therefore, this one is also not recommended to be leveled or invested in, unless it's your only Harmony option available. And that was the last light cone that is going to be introduced with the upcoming patch. Hopefully, Now you have a better grasp of their potential and value. But what are your thoughts? Which light cone are you planning to build first? Let me know down in the comments, and until next time, I am Professor Veritas Ratio, and remember, stay smart and sexy.